alors que le soleil se lève.
In 2005, it was estimated that there were already up to 1 million HIV/AIDS orphans and vulnerable children in Cameroon. To redress this situation, efforts have been made in both the urban and rural areas. Such efforts include the Care and Hope Centers, also known as Centre d'accueil de l'Espoir. Situated in the heart of the nation's capital, at the Efulan neighborhood in Yaoundé, the Care and Hope Center was created in the 90s by the Reverend Sister Marie-Thérèse Brigitte Mewolo, together with some laymen and some clergy, with the aim of solving the problems of HIV/AIDS orphans and vulnerable children.
With the emergence of AIDS, all attention was focused on prevention, the care of infected persons and treatment. Little or no attention was paid to AIDS orphans.
Je pense peut-être parce que les gens ne voyaient pas ces orphelins du sida par souci d'anticipation et voyant.
In anticipation then and with regards to what was happening in countries like Tanzania and Uganda, we decided to create an association which takes care of AIDS orphans in our center and in the community. That is to say, within some families which receive such orphans and from the families of the orphans themselves.
For over 10 years, the particularity of the Care and Hope Center lies in its capacity to mobilize the community in order to reduce the socio-economic impact of HIV/AIDS and to fight efficiently against poverty. This new approach integrates the institutional and community follow-up of orphans and children living with HIV/AIDS, not forgetting activities in line with the prevention of sexually transmittable infections and HIV through community conversations, a new proximity approach introduced by the United Nations Development Programme. The Care and Hope Center offers an integrated assistance to the poorer population through the identification and the evaluation of their needs, and by putting in place efficient follow-up mechanisms and counseling of families of origin.
We are a multidisciplinary team, including social workers. So children come here after a social inquiry carried out by the assistant social workers under the supervision of a senior social worker. We also have 15 permanent educators who are presently working in poor neighborhoods. After the educators assess the problems and forward it to the directorate, the social workers go back to the field to understand the details of each case. It is only after the social inquiry that the administration can decide which child can be admitted into the center and which child should be followed up from within the community. Since 1990, we have succeeded to reinsert about 200 children. To maintain the relation with these children, we have created an association of friends of the center, and almost all the children are still with us. Some of them who earn something from their work at the center also contribute to the running of the center. It is not an orphanage, but a temporary center where we care for children while looking for a lasting solution, most often a family where the child can stay permanently and in better conditions, just like the foster families. In order to improve the care we give to these AIDS orphans, we find it necessary to know the background of the families from which the children come. So we organize meetings with foster families every week, during which we give them money to operate small businesses from which they meet the needs of the children. Thus, the educators monitor the orphans, they assist foster families, and also supervise the petty trades, usually for a period of 1 to 3 years. Since we do not have sufficient means, we only assist orphans placed in foster families partially by giving them what they ask us, just like in reinserted cases. Sometimes it may be a whole family of infected relatives. These may be aunts, cousins, uncles, and the like.
In view of nurturing a sustainable relationship with our target group, we have initiated a certain number of activities. These are mainly income-generating activities which help both HIV/AIDS infected and affected persons and bring up their children. Also, we bought some equipment and offered small finances to these boys who work at the quarry in Korbiko.
At first, we worked in this order. Each person worked per their sand oven. Charcoal wasn't expensive. A bag cost 800 francs. Now we work in a group, the Charcoal Burner Association. We arrange the wood and cover it with ground, and we select the charcoal. Some fetch water to cool the coal, others remove the charcoal. After that, we fill the bags with the coal.
So we have many of such diverse activities, like in the SAS market, where we have provided 40 stands for the grandmothers and aunts who cater for these HIV/AIDS orphans we are trying to reinsert into normal life.
Besides support activities, there are also income-generating activities such as these palm groves.
This palm plantation, which is one of the sources of our revenue, is an advocacy project to prove to our donors that we invest in sustainable activities.
C'est pourquoi nous avons créé cette palmeraie qui est pour nous une source de revenus assez importante.
It spreads through 7 hectares and each hectare produces 3 million CFA francs annually.
Par an, 1,5 million francs CFA. Et ces ressources qui proviennent de la palmeraie soutiennent non seulement
This covers the cost of our temporal center in Ifulan and provides cooking oil for the social center as well as for the orphans who live in the community.
Field visits help the instructors to give useful information to the target population with the aim of reducing stigmatization and also to follow up all problems encountered by the targeted group. This information is reported to the Care and Hope Center. In my family, there are 4 orphans. My elder brother also died of AIDS. I have in my family 6 orphans whose parents died of AIDS. They're my responsibility. I struggle by producing charcoal, but the income is not enough, and the work is very difficult. I am unable to feed these children. That is why the Care and Hope Center helps me.
Among the difficulties we face, the first is infrastructure. Actually, with the urgency to seek a solution to the problems of AIDS orphans, the temporal center at Ifulan was constructed in a hurry without considering some of the major needs of the orphans. Today, we realize that many things are lacking. The second problem is our meager means. You obviously know that catering for a child in the community demands much, and we receive assistance just from a few goodwill people and from some development partners. Since we are the pioneer NGO in Cameroon working for AIDS orphans and other infected and affected persons, we wish that government should give subvention to our activities. In perspective, we hope to build a new multidisciplinary center, a center that will have the adequate infrastructure to enable us follow up the AIDS orphans appropriately. In perspective, we hope to build a new multidisciplinary center, a center that will have the adequate infrastructure to enable us follow up the AIDS orphans appropriately. This should include psychological, pedagogic, cognitive, school activities, activities. To be honest, we are unable to build such a center with international standards. Reason why we appeal to government and all development partners to come to our aid.
For close to 15 years, our administrative board, together with members of our non-governmental organization, the Centers of Hope, have worked hard to get the results you see on the field today. This with the help of some benefactors and development partners, we have engaged in the prevention of sexually transmitted infections, HIV/AIDS, in the follow-up and care of HIV/AIDS infected persons, but most especially in the care of AIDS orphans and vulnerable children. I think that all of these merits us as the first non-governmental organization in this domain, given that there exist several associations and NGOs working in the domain. Yet our experience, expertise, pertinence and the impact of our activities to the population of Cameroon. We will continue to work hard and even harder so as to gain the government's confidence in order that together we can achieve better things in favor of these vulnerable groups.
While awaiting, therefore, the reaction from goodwill souls, the Care and Hope Centers continue to bring assistance on a daily basis to thousands of orphans and vulnerable children across the country.